Good morning, guys. Once again, welcome to Carry Counseling Online, the morning vibes. It's another brand new Monday. And the blue shirt is just a coincidence, it's nothing to do with the Monday blues. Okay, so hopefully, you guys had a wonderful time with the family, watched a couple of movies, ate a good food, and listened to some good music. And you were able to spend time with your family, wife, children, parents, and that too in home instead of just going around in shopping malls and going to distracting places wherein very few connections are made. Only window shopping happens, a lot of buying happens. um, well, that is not spending time with the family. So guys, we are not going to talk about spending time with families today. Yesterday night I got a call uh, from one of my uh, I would say an elderly person, a fellow resident where I stay. Okay, so most probably the person is finding it difficult with this lockdown period and the COVID-19 situation, because the kind of question that he started asking me literally made me believe that you know the trauma is affecting him. So, a couple of questions, among which one question appeared to be very relevant. When you know he couldn't convince me about the ill effects of the lockdown or the trauma of being confined, or the disconnection which has happened due to social distancing, and people cannot visit others' house, they cannot meet other, they cannot you know go and have a chit chat and have a tea and so on. All right, but the thing is, one question came in as a concluding question, which was very relevant. So once he couldn't get a very you know uh, assuring answer to his question of pandemic, the lockdown, or this confinement being in positive direction with our life, he asked me the last question. So it looks like the lockdown you're hardly aware of. I mean, so if you are so positive about what you're doing during this lockdown and so on, so what is the silver lining, okay, out of this dark episode which looms around us? So, what is there anything good about this lockdown? Is this COVID 19? Is it able to teach us something? So, well, the thing is, I will share with you those. These questions might be popping up into mind, like with all this lockdown, the pandemic happening, people working from home, and people losing job, discontinuity, disconnection, and so on. But the thing is, couple of points, as I would fondly refer to Adam Grant. Now, for those who has already knows Adam Grant is one of the pioneer speakers in the web forum. He is one of the business strategists and very successful in what he's doing. So he quoted. So to quote him, he said he has mentioned in one of the meetings that post COVID-19 majority, there will be two aspects. First thing is the impact would be one at an organizational level or institutional level, and the second would be at an individual level. Now, organizational level, we are all understand there would be less production, there would be cancellation of orders, there would be delays, there would be postponed, and so on. But the thing is, at the individual level, how is it going to impact? See, that at the individual level, there is two way it might impact anybody. First thing is, it will impact a lot of people in a very negative way. It will be very depressing for them. It will be very difficult for them to adapt to the kind of change which the COVID-19 has brought into our life, the personal life and the professional life. And then again, the silver lining part is There will be a lot who would be, going through this uh, situation in a very positive way. How is that? Adam Grant mentions that this is going to be a post-trauma syndrome for many. What does that do? The post-trauma syndrome is a situation wherein you start believing when something goes wrong in your life, very wrong in your life, and you start thinking about it, you go into depth about it, and then you come up with this that, well, I didn't like what happened in my life, but now that it has happened already, I I believe I'm good with it. I now know how to deal similar situation. I now have the strength to come out of this. I now know how to handle similar situations if it arises, God forbid, in my life again. And you actually evolve as a much stronger person. Okay? So, the post trauma syndrome will make you feel very strong within. You will feel as a winner, you being alive, you being able to, contribute, you being able to work, you being able to go back to the normal life. That will make you respect yourself a lot more. Unconsciously, you will be respecting yourself a lot more. We had a, past almost 2 decades or 3 decades, we had a session wherein the professionals were highly suffering from a very low esteem, a very low self-esteem, right? So, what will that do is it will increase your self-esteem. First thing is it will increase your self-esteem. You will feel much more self-motivated. You will feel a lot of gratitude. You will be a lot more thankful. So what will that do is it will do an inner transformation. And now what that is going to add up to, when this inner transformation happens, you understand, you have now understood, which if you would have understood, let's say 50 years or 100 years ago, it would have been much better. But the COVID-19 situation has made you understand one thing, that you are not a single individual. You are interconnected with all the individuals that you see around. So anything which affects me is going to affect you. I mean, though you know me or not, doesn't matter. But the thing is, it's going to affect you. See, for a person in Italy who has not even visited China, or doesn't even have a Chinese friend, or has never met a Chinese person, is suffering from COVID-19, something which got originated from Wuhan, the China food market. So the thing is, somebody in Wuhan got affected, and in a chain of reaction, the contagion, process worked, and the person in Italy, or the person in Africa, or the person in Poland, or the person in other part of US, poles apart, people are affected. So the thing is, we are all interconnected. You agree to this or you don't, that's up to you. But the thing is, we are all interconnected, and something which affects me is certainly is going to affect you. The same way, something which affects you is certainly going to affect me. So the thing is, we have now understood one thing for sure, that if something bad happens to you, the bad happens to me too. So on my part, my contribution would be to reduce that impact, that negative impact. I would try my best to not add up to the negative impact. My actions would be much more monitored. My actions would be much more, I would say, self-screened. Like we would be more thoughtful about doing something before doing it, because we now know the ripple effect. Like I might be okay with doing it and getting away with it, but the thing is, in the long run, it's going to come back to me. Now this is the, we have been reading about it a long time. I mean, we have been talking about the the law of karma, the circle of karma, and so on. But this is it. I mean, it's nothing to do with the religious thought or process or philosophy. It is simple, like we are organisms, like irrespective of you staying in Australia, US, or I staying in India, we are all interconnected, right? Because you need to understand one thing. See, we all share the resources, the water, the sky, the air, everything we share, right? I mean, you might be staying in your country, I might be staying in my country, but the thing is, the resources is not country based. Yes, the river flows in within your country, and the river Ganges flows from my country, but the thing is, you need to understand the resource is ultimately water. the drinking water, that 1% or 2% of water that we have for drinking. I mean, if there is a shortage, it affects you, it affects me, it affects anybody. So I believe our actions will be much more self-monitored. We would be much more thoughtful, followed by the grateful thoughts and filled with gratitude. That, like for me, I am so happy and I feel so blessed, being safe, free of the virus, not being affected, while so many people have lost their lives. Our prayer goes with them, and our prayer goes with the family members who have lost their near ones in this COVID-19. May they have the strength to, go through this, chaotic or just absolutely saddening situation in their life, right? May they have the strength, may they wake up as much more evolved individual, much more informed individual. So we would be filled with gratitude. Our actions would be much more human centric, I would rather say. I mean, we would not be that I give a damn kind of person anymore. Now the thing is, apart from this, apart from COVID-19 filling you up with a sense of gratitude, a sense of recognition, a sense of it's like a wake-up call to the human species, right? Apart from that, work-wise, we will see a lot of change in the way management and the employees understands. Previously, work from home was a concept, like remote working was a concept not much practiced in India. I'm not really very sure about the other parts of the in the world, but you cannot be like 70%, 80% workforce working from home. It was never thought to be possible, but COVID-19 has made that possible. We have Tata group of companies who have already launched their program called 25-25, which means by the year 2025, Tata would be working with 25% of their essential workers on the site. 75% of their employees would be working from home around the world. Right now, that is a kind of evolved process which will come up more with more organization. So management and employees both have understood that it is now possible to work from home, to deliver the best, and to be on the project, and to do much more even when you are working from home. Right. So that's one of the silver lining I would really see. And the best part is, you see, for the professionals, like for when I used to work in one of the companies in Kolkata. See, the distance was, let's say, 12 kilometers or 15 kilometers from my residence to the workplace, but it used to take 1 hour, half an hour, almost 1 hour 45 minutes and so on. And it used to be so tiring, it used to be so exhausted by the time, during the summertime, in India, we have a lot of perspiration, we have a lot of sweating goes on. Now by the time I reached the place, though even the office transportation was there, by the time, because I was always stuck in the jam, I was always stuck in, hardly the vehicles moved, and by the time I reached office, for that I had to come out of my residence much before the required time, right? So the commuting took a lot of time. Even while coming back from office also, I was stuck in the traffic jam, and all this thing, it was so chaotic. And by the time I reached back home, it was all that I could ask was a cup of tea and having a headache just from commuting. Now the thing is, that being reduced, I believe professionals or employees will be much more productive. Now this 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour, both 3 hours that had been spent in commuting, now I don't have to. So that 3 hours I could spend with my family members. Right, so my family can have that time, and even I can use that 3 hours in in a very constructive way. I can read a book, I can read a blog, I can write something, and I can spend the time on me also. So this 3 hours is going to be a bonus. So employers would find out that this is really helping them produce much better, I would say, deliverables when it comes to their productivity being considered. Also, I would say this COVID-19 has made us health-wise also very aware. Like, we have now understood how important it is to have a very stronger immunity, how important it is to go out and have that the vitamins which we absorb from the sunlight, how important it is for a health regime, how important it is for having physical activity in our life. Because we have found that with the physical activity increasing, the way COVID-19 impacted the professionals, people have been watching a lot of more. There have been a 45% leap in the kind of sports related, indoor sports related app download. Google has reported. So people are downloading apps to show them indoor exercise, meditation. As I mentioned the other day, I already installed a couple of nice meditation, guided meditation apps, and those are helping. I mean, those are literally helping me find a different direction in myself, right? So I get more time. I'm getting more time, though I absolutely work from home, because now I am no more related to the ITs. So for my project, I literally have to travel a lot to the villages, to the remote villages, work with the artisans, bringing them on the surface, onboarding them, so that they can communicate with the art lovers directly. They can sell their product directly. See, Project Rangamati basically provides that platform to those artisans who were in the dark, to showcase their work and come up to the global audience as an artist rather than a labor. Now, coming back again to the productivity part, see, with the with a better health regime or a health program in place, people are gaining more strength mentally, right? And when you have a mental strength, you are more focused. You are more focused to what you're doing, and your productivity shows that, because when you're focused, you concentrate better, and you are able to analyze better, you are able to contemplate better, and you are able to deliver better. So that is also one best, I would say, best part about the COVID-19. Also, the thing is, COVID-19 has also showed us that a financial stability is just a myth. I mean, if I draw conclusion from the IT sector, see, in the IT sector, we have a tendency, we get into this tendency of overriding the need to, good to have kind of factors, more than the need to have. We have a big list of good to have, better to have, and best to have. So the thing is, I mean, if we require just a phone to make the basic call and enjoy the social media. See, a basic phone can also, these days, the basic phones, I mean, I'm not talking about you punching in the keys and keyboard. I'm going back to the though I use one still not a smartphone, the basic phones, I use it. I have a better signal, better connectivity on that. Now the thing is, see, you can have it's not always mandate that you go for a 60,000 or 70,000 worth of phone, just because you like to upgrade your handset every 6 months. So COVID-19 has showed that also, that with COVID-19 thing happening, people are bombarded with the mortgage, with the EMIs and others, and with people losing job, and people losing their contract and work and everything. So these things are all falling apart. Why falling apart is because they are impacted financially so bad that they don't know how to go ahead with it. Because when they had a job, they had a flamboyant life, they had a very show off kind of life, wherein they had the most expensive car, most expensive phone. The weekends were in some 5-star hotels, and there were a couple of holidays, like international holiday, and so on. So what that do is, there was never a contingency plan to save fund. There was never a kind of understanding to save for the dark days. Now with this COVID-19, this has become very, very clear to everybody, be it a IT professional, be it anybody, whether a fresher or a 6 months or a 16 years old professional, or 30-year or 40-year old professional also, work experience having 40 years or 16 years, doesn't matter. The main thing is it has made us understand that we need to have a contingency plan. We need to have a plan for the dark days, right? I mean, we need to have a savings plan in place. Otherwise, when situations like this come up, we are caught off guard, and we do not know how the fund management to be done. So COVID-19 has also taught us, the present generation, the professionals, the importance of saving, the importance of having a contingency plan. And last but not least, I would like to say, see, the amount of time that we are spending with the family, right, all the members together, just because we cannot go out, because we are maintaining the social distancing and so on. See, the every house has every member, household members, all in the same apartment, 24/7. So that what does that do is we are as I personally see in my life, like I'm spending more time with my wife, my child, and my mother, right? So the thing is, what is that doing is, I'm getting more time to talk to them. I'm getting more time to interact with them. Yes, I am getting some time to play with my son. I flew kite the other day. I'm helping him with his drawing. Like he's taking up some chess, online chess classes. I'm taking some online classes. So it's like he's inspiring me. I'm inspiring him. And my wife gets a time to, without this school commuting happening, because he's having the online sessions just like the other kids in India. So the thing is, there is not this maddening rush. Like, so my wife is getting some time to prepare some very nice good foods. She's trying her hands on. She's doing a lot of experimenting. We are getting a lot of good food to eat. I mean, like tasty food to eat. And well, that makes me believe that the COVID-19 has brought the family all together, in one place, and we are feeling much more connected, rather than last 20 years or 10 years that we have been spending with the family members. Very few time. Yes, we were always commuting. We were running here, there, checking mails even when we are home. And the weekends, either we are doing the shopping, we are going for the vegetables, we're going for the groceries, and by the time the evening comes up, either we are too tired, or spending some time with the family with a cup of tea. But then again, we are back of the mind, it's like, oh God, the weekend is over, so tomorrow again we have to drag ourselves to the office. Now with that thing gone, I believe everybody in the family is much more harmony. So the thing is, guys, see, there is always two ways to look at things, right? I mean, you can take any situation in your life, be it COVID-19, be it any kind of situation. Either it's absolutely your choice whether you take it, in a positive way. I know it's difficult. I know it's very difficult to take every situation in a positive way. But the best part is, I would say, even if you are not able to assess the positivity into it, let's not go into a negativity. Let's try to fill in that gap of mental processing with something creative. I mean, reading, online classes, painting, like listening to music, watching movies. Because see, the thing is, whatever the situation, like for instance, that's COVID-19, no matter how hard you try, you cannot push the lockdown, and you cannot, then you are an unlawful citizen. You just go out and say, I'm just not going to go by the rules. That's not it. But can you tell me that, can you free a country of COVID-19 absolutely next 7 days? No. So the thing is, you need to learn to live with it. You need to be much more cautious. You need to be much more aware of what is going on, and you have to be much more focused into how to work on this. So to keep yourself safe, to keep others safe. Now, when a situation teaches you so much, when a teacher, when it brings a family close together, when it makes the management look into their, years old policy and reframe, remodel it, when this makes you think about your health, take up a physical activity, and when it gives you a chance to be more grateful, filling you up with gratitude, well, I don't see literally why you should be so depressed, all stuck up in I should believe. People have been always calling me, silver line chaser. Well, I like that. I mean, like, instead of being gloomy and looking at the dark clouds, I like to chase the silver line, because I might be a fool. But the thing is, at least, what has happened in the past is not ruining my present. So when the present is not being ruined, there is a lot more chance of the of the future to be much better than the present. So only when I am much more positive, much more focused, much more open towards the present, not pondering or not bickering about the past, I can change my future. So that is the power of present. So guys, stay focused, right? Stay focused, stay home, and as I always mention, learn, contribute, and evolve. So guys, with that note, today I say goodbye. Or yesterday I learned two new words I would like to share with you. I'm learning Filipino language, and in Filipino, you welcome somebody or say hello, like kamusta, right? So there's a bigger version also, but this one suited me. And for goodbye, Filipino people says paalam, paalam. So with the paalam, I wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay home, and stay focused. We meet again tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.